कृष्णे स्वधामोपगते ज्ञान धर्म ज्ञानादिभिः सह कलौ नष्टदृशम् अधुनोदितः। Yeah. कृष्णे स्वधामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह कलौ नष्टदृशाम् एषः पुराणार्को अधुनोदितः। श्रीमद्भागवतं पुराणममलं यद् वैष्णवानां प्रियं यस्मिन् पारमहंस्यम् एकम् अमलं ज्ञानं परं गीयते तत्र ज्ञानविरागभक्तिर्सहितं नैष्कर्म्यम् आविष्कृतं तत् शृण्वन् सुपठन् विचारणपरो भक्त्या विमुच्य नरः। सर्ववेदान्तसारं हि श्रीमद्भागवतम् इष्यते तद् रसामृततृप्तस्य नान्यत्र स्याद्रति क्वचेत् य एतत् श्रावयन् नित्यं यामक्षणमन्यदीः श्लोकम् एकं तदर्थं वा पादं पादार्थम् एव वा श्रद्धवान्यो अनुशृणुयात् पुराति आत्मानम् एव सः कृष्णतुल्यभागवतविभो सर्वाश्रयः प्रतिश्लोके प्रत्यक्षरे नाना अर्थकया प्रेममया भागवत कृष्णेर श्रियङ्गाताः ते कहेन यत गोप्य कृष्णेराङ्गा आदिमध्य अन्त्ये भागवते एकया विष्णु भक्ति नित्य सिद्ध अक्षय अव्यया भागवते शास्त्रे से भक्ति तत्व कहे तेने भागवत सम कोनो शास्त्र न है। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। We will read today the first chapter from Srimad Bhagavatam, seventh canto. So, what is the seventh canto? In Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, 10th chapter, the first verse is saying, what is all this about? This Bhagavatam. Yesterday we were saying, Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanam utayah manvantireshanu Nirodha Muktir Ashraya. So these are the 10 subjects that are discussed in Bhagavatam. And the interesting subject matter that is in the seventh canto is Uti. Uti means creative impetus, or it also can mean um, inclination to do something. So, ideally, I would say seventh canto is such a beautiful part of Srimad Bhagavatam that helps us to understand what is right, what is wrong, how we should appreciate Varnashrama system, what is Sura Varnashrama system, what is right one, and then there is what is Asura Varnashrama system, and what are religious practices, what are irreligious practices. So, in fact, the seventh canto doesn't have so many chapters, but it has a very important part. Yeah, in fact, the seventh canto and eighth canto both are discussing about this beautiful. They represent. It is said they represent the arms of the Lord. We know whenever we do any activity, it is done through our hands. Yeah, so when we are giving charity, yeah, we don't give charity with our head or with our legs. No, we do it as an offering with our hands, showing. So activities, and then whatever we are doing, it has a reaction. It's good or bad. So in fact, the seventh and eighth canto represent the arms of the Lord. The seventh canto describes uti, which is inclination, which are of two types. One is auspicious, which is favorable, and other activity which is inauspicious, which is not favorable. And this auspicious and inauspicious inclination of jivas lead them to pious activities or impious activities, whatever he does. So, based on our desire, our what do you call this, in what direction we are grooving towards, yeah, we end up doing that activity. By whatever we desire, we do that activity, and because of that activity, whatever comes is the result. The inauspicious inclinations are Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu has caused so many inauspicious things. This is what we will discuss, I think, for quite few months to understand, or maybe I think at least a few weeks, definitely, to understand who is Hiranyakashipu, yeah, and um, who is he, how did he end up to become a demon, and what kind of activities were happening in his rule, and then how these things were counteracted when all the devatas they approached the Lord, how the Lord appeared as Lord Nrsimhadev, to protect Prahlad Maharaj. All these things will be covered in this. But before that, why this subject has come as part of this seventh is what we will read. And for that, let me share my screen. Okay. Hope everyone is eager. Do let me know if you see the screen.
Yeah, we can
By the
see.
way, if you have friends who might be interested, or yeah, the one maybe who have come for the kids Rath Yatra, who are very enthusiastic, yeah, this is a nice opportunity that they can also join, because we are starting a new canto. It's new pastime. Maybe it might be interesting. Yeah. So we are in the seventh canto, first chapter, and let me see how many verses this has. Okay, we have 48. So we will read. Okay, we'll read till 21. Very important. So, Shri Raja Uvacha Samah Priya Suhrit Brahman Bhutanam Bhagavan Swayam Indrasyarte Gatam Daityan Avadhi Vishamo Yata. King Parikshit inquired, My dear Brahmana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, being everyone's well-wisher, is equal and extremely dear to everyone. How then did he become partial, like a common man, for the sake of Indra and thus kill Indra's enemies? How can a person equal to everyone be partial to some and inimical towards others? न ह्यस्यार्थसुरगणैः साक्षान् निःश्रेयसात्मना नैवासुरेभ्यो विद्वेषो नोद्वेगश्चागुणस्य हि. Lord Vishnu himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all pleasure. Therefore, what benefit would he derive from siding with the demigods? What interest would he fulfill in this way? Since the Lord is transcendental, why should he fear the Asuras? And how could he be envious for them? इति न सुमहाभागा नारायण गुणा प्रति संशया सुमहान जातस तद्भवाम चेतुम अर्हति. O greatly fortunate and learned Brahmana, whether Narayana is partial or impartial has become a subject of great doubt. Kindly dispel my doubt with positive evidence that Narayana is always neutral and equal to everyone. Shri Rishirvacha Sadhu Brishtam Maharaja Hare Charitam Adbhutam Yad Bhagavata Mahatmyam Bhagavad Bhakti Vardhanam Giyate Paramam Punyam Rishibir Naradadibihi Natva Krishnaya Munaye Kathe Ishye Hare Katham. The great sage Shukadev Goswami said, My dear king, you have put before me an excellent question. Discourses concerning the activities of the Lord, in which the glories of his devotees are also found, are extremely pleasing to devotees. Such wonderful topics always counteract the miseries of the materialistic way of life. Therefore, great sages like Narada always speak upon Srimad Bhagavatam because it gives one the facility to hear and chant about the wonderful activities of the Lord. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva and then begin describing topics concerning the activities of Lord Hari. निर्गुणोऽपि हि अजो व्यक्तो भगवान् प्रकृते परः स्वमाया गुणः आविश्य बाध्याबाधकतां गतः. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is always transcendental to material qualities, and therefore he is called Nirguna, or without qualities. Because he is unborn, he does not have a material body to be subjected to attachment and hatred. Although the Lord is always above material existence, through his spiritual potency, he appeared and acted like an ordinary human being, accepting duties and obligations apparently like a conditioned soul. Sattvam rajastamas iti naatmano gunaha natesham yugapad rajan rasha ullasa eva va. My dear King Parikshit, the material qualities Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna all belong to the material world and do not even touch the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These three gunas cannot act by increasing or decreasing simultaneously. Jai Kale tu Sattvasya Devarshin Rajaso Suran Tamaso Yaksha Rakshamsi Tat Kalanugano Bhajat. When the qualities of goodness is prominent, the sages and demigods flourish with the help of that quality, with which they are infused and surcharged by the Supreme Lord. Similarly, when the mode of passion is prominent, the demons flourish, and when ignorance is prominent, the yakshas and rakshasas flourish. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is present in everyone's heart, fostering the reactions of Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. ज्योतिरादि इवा भाति संघाता न विविच्यते विदन्ति आत्मानम् आत्मस्थं मथित्वा कवयो अन्ततः. The all pervading personality of Godhead exists within the heart of every living being, and an expert thinker can perceive how he present there to a large or small extent. Just as one can understand the supply of fire in wood, the wood in a water pot, or the sky within a pot, one can understand whether a living entity is a demon or a demigod by understanding that living entity's devotional performances. A thoughtful man can understand how much a person is favored by the Supreme Lord by seeing his actions. यदा शुश्रुक्षु पुर आत्मन पुरो रजसृजति एष पृथक् स्वमायया सत्वं विचित्राशु रिरंशुर ईश्वरः सयिष्यमानस्तम ईरयति असौ. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead creates different types of bodies, offering a particular body to each living entity according to his character and fruitive actions, the Lord revives all the qualities of material nature, Sattvaguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Then, as the Super Soul, he enters each body and influences the qualities of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, using Sattvaguna for maintenance, Rajoguna for creation, and Tamoguna for annihilation. कालं चरन्ति सृजतीश आश्रयं प्रधानपुंभ्यां नरदेवशक्त्यकृत्. O great King, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of material and spiritual energies, who is certainly the creator of entire cosmos, creates the time factor to allow the material energy and the living entity to act within the limits of time. Thus, the Supreme Personality is never under the time factor nor under the material energy. Ya yesha rajan apikala ishata sattvam suranikam ivaidayati athaha tat pratyanikan asuran surapriyo rajastamaskan praminoti urushravaha. O King, this time factor enhances the Sattva Guna. Thus, although the Supreme Lord is the controller, he favors the demigods who are mostly situated in Sattva Guna. Then, the demons who are influenced by Tamoguna are annihilated. The Supreme Lord induces the time factor to act in different ways, but he is never partial. Rather, his activities are glorious and therefore he is called Urushrava. पूर्वम् इतिहास सुरसिना सुरशिना प्रीत्या महाकृतौ राजन् पृच्छते जाता सत्रवे. Formerly, O king, when Maharaj Yudhishthira was performing the Rajasuya sacrifice, The great sage Narada, responding to his inquiry, recited historical facts showing how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always impartial, even when killing demons. In this regard, he gave a vivid example. दृष्ट्वा महाद्भुतं राजा राजसूये महाकृतौ वासुदेवे भगवती सायुज्यं चेदि भूभुजः तत्रासीनं सुरशृणं राजा पाण्डुसुतः कृतौ पपृच्छ विस्मितमना मुनीनां शृण्वताम् इदम्. O king, at the Rajasuya sacrifice, Maharaj Yudhishthira, the son of Maharaj Pandu, personally saw Shishupala merge into the body of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Therefore, struck with wonder, he inquired about the reason for this from the great sage Narada, who was seated there. While he inquired, all the sages present also heard him ask his question. श्री युधिष्ठिर उवाच अहो अत्यद्भुतं हि एतद् दुर्लभैकान्तीनाम् अपि वासुदेवे परे तत्त्वे चैद्यस्य विद्विषः. Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired, "It is very wonderful that the demon Shishupala merged into the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though extremely envious. This Sayujya Mukti is impossible to attain even for great transcendentalists. How then did the enemy of the Lord attain it? एतद् विदितुम् इच्छामः सर्व एव वयं मुने भगवन्निन्दया वेणो द्विजैस्तमसि पातितः. O great sage, we are all eager to know the cause for this mercy of the Lord. I have heard that formerly a king named Vena blasphemed the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that all the Brahmanas consequently obliged him to go to hell. Shishupal should also have been sent to hell. How then did he merge into the Lord's existence? दमघोष सुत पापा आरभ्य कलभाषणात् सम्प्रति अमर्षि गोविन्दे दन्तवक्तश्च दुर्मतिः. From the very beginning of his childhood, when he could not even speak properly, Shishupala, the most sinful son of Damagosha, began blaspheming the Lord, and he continued to be envious of Sri Krishna until death. Similarly, his brother Dantavakra continued the same habits. सपतोर असकृत विष्णुम यद ब्रह्म परम अव्ययम स्वित्रो न जातो जिह्वायाम नादम विविशतो विविशतोस्तमः. Although these two men, Shishupala and Dantavakra, repeatedly blasphemed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Brahman, they were quite healthy. Indeed, their tongues were not attacked by white leprosy, nor did they enter the darkest region of hellish life. We are certainly most surprised by this. Katham tasmin bhagavati duravaggrahya damani pasyatam sarvalokanam layam iyatur anjasa. How was it possible for Shishupala and Dantavakra, in the presence of many exalted persons, to enter very easily into the body of Krishna, whose nature is difficult to attain? Etad भ्रामयति मे बुद्धिर दीपार्चिर इव वायुना ब्रूहि एतद् अद्भुतात्तमं भगवान ही अत्र कारणम. This matter is undoubtedly very wonderful. Indeed, my intelligence has become disturbed just as the flame of a candle is disturbed by a blowing wind. O Narada Muni, you know everything. Kindly let me know the cause of this wonderful event. Hare Krishna. So, that's how we already start with so much excitement filled in the seventh canto, where we are talking about these doubts which are asked by none other than the king, well known for his righteousness, Dharmaraj. Even he couldn't understand what is dharma. Is it really? Is Lord partial? So this this brings us, yeah, Parikshit Maharaj is asking something wonderful to Shukadeva Goswami. He's asking, first of all, he's already saying, Sama Priya Hrid Brahman, Bhutana Bhagavan Swayam, Indriyarthe Katam Daityan, Avadihi Vishamo Yatha. This is already confusing. In fact, in the purport, Prabhupada is saying, Lord says, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Name Dvesho Asti Na Priya. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu, all beings are equal to me. There is no someone, Name Dvesho Asti Na Priya. There is no one that I envy or hate or very dear to me. I am equal to everyone, he is saying. And if Lord is equal to everyone, how come that he became partial like a common man for the sake of supporting Indra? Because Indra wanted protection and like a partial friend, uh, Krishna has arranged to kill Shishupal, no, to kill um, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So how is it possible? Huh? And so that's why he is asking here. In fact, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the purport 1 is saying, Samasya, Samasya Katham Vaishamyam. Since the Lord is equally disposed toward everyone, how can he be partial? Priyasya Katham Asureshu Preeti Abhava. The Lord, being the super soul, is extremely dear to everyone. Why then should the Lord display unsympathetic behavior towards Asuras? How is this impartial? Huh? Suhridascha katham teshva asauhardam. Since the Lord says that He is Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, the well-wisher of all living entities, how could He act with partiality by killing demons? This is the question that Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukadeva Goswami, because we know in the third canto we came across how Hiranyaksha was killed in the when Lord appeared as Varahadeva. And then it goes further. Lord is reservoir of all pleasure. What will he get? Yeah, when already, if we ask, what do you want? What is the best? What you want? Everyone says, I want happiness, happiness, pleasure, pleasure. Lord is already having a reservoir of pleasure. Hmm? Then what would he benefit by siding with the demigods? Because demigods, what will they do? Are they going to provide them more services? And no, Lord is anyway satisfied. He's always happy. Since the Lord is transcendental, why should he favor, uh, even in fact, why should he fear of Asuras? Uh, how could he be envious of them? So, this is the question. I don't know. I mean, Shivani Mataji, is this question something not interesting to know? So
Question
far, already
is
we have come across so many questions.
question is interesting, but I don't know the answer.
That's why if we go through Bhagavatam, we'll get answers for all the questions. Yeah, all these samshayas, all will be gone. So it said, if a devotee offers me with devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, patram pushpam phalam toyam, even if one is offering that, I will accept it. So why does the Lord say this? Is he dependent on offering of the devotees? On one side, we know Lord is the reservoir of all pleasure. On the other side, we are saying that Lord is satisfied if one is giving these things. Huh? We keep these questions because we go forward to understand. Itina sumaha bhaga. This Narayana guna, the qualities of Narayan is very confusing for me. Clarify my doubt whether Narayan is partial or impartial. Because, yeah, in Mahabharat, some says Krishna favored Pandavas. How is it? Is Krishna genuine? Is Krishna loyal? Is Krishna ethical? So many people challenge the character of Krishna in so many ways. Uh, yeah, these questions are because of lack of understanding. So here, Parikshit Maharaj is he's a devotee. He's trying to help us understand, is Narayan partial or is he impartial? Kindly dispel my doubt with positive evidence that Narayan is always neutral and equal to everyone. Because he's a devotee, he's asking favorable example. Yeah. If one is envious of the Lord, he would say, "Hey, no, no, I don't hear to you." Even if I hear, I have examples that Lord is not favorable. And this is what. And then um, it is said, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, one must first offer. It said, therefore, great sages like Narada always speak about Srimad Bhagavatam because it gives one the facility to hear and chant about the wonderful activities of the Lord. So Shukadeva Goswami he's saying this last line, Natva Krishnaya Munaye Kathayishye Hari Katham. So he's offering his dandavat, he's offering his obeisances to his guru. So Shukadeva Goswami's guru, who is he? Narad Muni. He's offering his obeisances or offering prayers to Narad Muni before he's starting to narrate. Huh? Um, sorry, Shukadeva Goswami's guru is Vyasadev. Vyasadev guru is Narad Muni. So Shukadeva Goswami is offering his obeisances to Narad Muni, and he's saying, huh? In fact, this is very important. One must first offer one's respectful obeisances to one's spiritual master. Shukadeva Goswami did so, and then began describing Harikatha. In fact, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Kirtaniya Sadahari, one should always engage in Krishna Katha by chanting and talking about Krishna and hearing about him. This is the only occupation of Krishna conscious person. And then, Nirgunopi hi ajo vyakto Bhagavan Prakriti para swamaya guna avishya vadya bada katham gataha. Huh? So, so after offering, he's saying, okay, Lord Vishnu is always transcendental. Huh? But only aropita, it is mentioned, only foolish people blame the Lord. In the purport, it is said, this is the understanding of aropita or imposition. Therefore, Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam. Whatever he says, whatever he does, being always transcendental, has nothing to do with material qualities. Hmm? Simply by understanding the activities of Krishna, one can become transcendental. And as soon as one is transcendental, he is fit to be transferred to the transcendental world. Huh? How? Tyaktva deham punarjainma naiti mameti so Arjuna. And one doesn't return back to this material world. Sattvam rajas tamas iti prakrite natmano guna na tesham yugapad rajan risha ullasa evatva. Ullasa means prominence. So these three gunas cannot act by increasing or decreasing simultaneously. Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Sattva-guna. These are the natures. Just we should understand our when our leg is tied by three kinds of ropes, whether it is golden rope, silver rope, iron rope, doesn't matter. All these three bind that one cannot move. That is what is conditioning. Whether it is sattva guna, rajoguna, tamoguna, all these gunas are like binding ropes. Guna means itself a rope. So the conditioned soul, purport Prabhupada says, is under the influence of various modes of material nature, and behind material nature is the supreme personality of Godhead. But one's victory and loss under the influence of sattva guna, rajoguna, tamoguna are reactions of these modes, not of the Supreme Lord's partiality. This is very, very, very important. Just like in, I think it comes later, a judge in a Supreme Court, when he is giving a judgment, it is not that it is his interest to punish someone. It is because of the, eh, what do you call, convicts or accused, convicts, yeah, because they did something, they are prone to be punished. So, Srila Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Bhagavat Sandarbha, he is saying, Sattva na santishe yatra cha prakrita gunaha sa shuddha sarva suddhebhyaha puman adhya prasidatu hladini sandhini sambit tvam tvayi eka sarva samstitau hlada tapa kari mishra tvayi no guna varjite. According to the statement, the Supreme Lord, being always transcendental to the material nature, material qualities, is never affected by the influence of these qualities. This same characteristics is also present in the living being, but because he is conditioned by material nature, Even the pleasure potence of the Lord is manifested in the conditioned soul as troublesome. What does that mean? We are enjoying, yeah, this enjoyment is causing us suffering. Why? Because the Ananda Maya Bhyasa, that is a nature of us, which is similar in quality. The Lord is also pleasure seeking. He is giving and also seeking. uh, but He is full. uh, we are not. We are only very little, very partial. Hmm. It is said, the example. For instance, we have seen that in the two great wars which were conducted by the Rajoguna and Tamoguna, both both were actually ruined. The German people declared war against the English to ruin them, but the result was that both parties were ruined. Although the allies were apparently victorious, at least on paper, actually neither of them were victorious. Uh, So anyway, this purport goes a bit longer, but here the reference is given that um, it is all because of our own. How are we thinking? What are we thinking? And what is the influence around us? Accordingly, we are enjoying or suffering. Sometimes there is an increment of Rajoguna, sometimes of Tamoguna, and sometimes of Satvaguna, just like seasonal changes. Generally, the demigods are surcharged with Satvaguna. Therefore, when the demons and the demigods fight, the demigods are victorious because of prominence of their Satvaguna. However, it is not partiality of the Lord, Supreme Lord. Hmm. I'll stop after 10th verse. Jyotir adir iva bhati sanghatam na vivichyate. So the example given here, just as one can understand the supply of fire in wood, the water in water pot, or the sky within a pot, one can understand whether a living entity is a demon or a demigod by understanding that living entity's devotional performances. A thoughtful man can understand how much a person is favored by the Supreme Lord by seeing his actions. So, a devotee can know who is a devotee or a non devotee. A devotee will understand who is doing for his own benefit, for his own selfish interest, or not. Who is motivated, self motivated for self benefit or for the Lord's benefit. So, a thoughtful person can understand that. Hmm. Atmanam in this verse means Paramatmanam. Hmm. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhir yogatam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and who worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. This is what Krishna is saying. A Vaishnava should appreciate the service rendered to the Lord by other Vaishnavas. Therefore, a Vaishnava is described in Srimad Bhagavatam as Nirmatsara. Vaishnavas are never envious of other Vaishnavas or of anyone else, and therefore they are called Nirmatsaranam Satam. Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur gives an example here. He says, hmm, in the sky, there are many luminaries. At night, even in darkness, the moon is extremely brilliant and can be directly perceived. The sun is also extremely brilliant. When covered by clouds, however, these luminaries are not distinctly visible. Similarly, the more one advances in Sattva-guna, the more his brilliance is exhibited by devotional service. But the more one is covered by Rajoguna and Tamoguna, the less visible his brilliance, for he is covered by these qualities. Okay, I'll stop here. Hmm. We'll continue from maybe 10 quickly to 20 and then we move on. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Prabhu.